Hello everybody and happy Thursday. Welcome to the last Engage with Paige. Breck is over here and he's going to be asking me some questions, so that's who I'll be looking at the whole time. But Kylan, thanks so much for filming. But yeah, this is our last one, so thanks so much for submitting your questions, and yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get started. So Breck, it's all you.
Alrighty, question number 1. Your goal at the start of your administration was to rectify relationships between SGA and university administration. How would you say that relationship is now in comparison to the start of your session?
Sure, so I think that that's definitely been something that we've worked a lot on. That was something that we promised we would be able to work on, just because we saw the need in being able to communicate where students are at to administration and then see things that get done. I do think the relationship has definitely gotten better. There have been times, sure, where we've disagreed, which that's what we wanted. We wanted to have a working relationship where we could disagree and then come to a consensus on what our decision was going to be. So I think, yeah, we've done well with that campaign promise.
Next question. Did you feel that the Senate was pressured into passing the student fees recommendation to meet university timelines?
So I can definitely see how people would ask that question. I do think that there were statements that were made about what the timeline was and how we needed to get it done by a certain time period. I do think that was an issue that we were facing, was that we wanted to make sure that we were going to get it done in time. But I would say that people voted for it because they believed in what the recommendation was, and they saw to it that it was a necessity that we needed to get it passed and move forward with the process. So I don't think that people felt pressured, but I think that that would be a better question to ask senators if that's how they felt, because I can't speak on behalf of how the senators felt.
Do you think senators voted based on personal opinions or for their constituents in regard to the student fees recommendations?
So I think that our senators do a great job of speaking on behalf of their constituents. I think that they definitely communicate with their constituents and get the input that they need about just different things about how people feel and how they would like them to vote. So I think that people made the decisions how they should. They made the decisions based on how people were telling them they should vote.
Do you regret your comments about assuming Bardo will sign the student fees budget regardless of what senators and constituents have to say about it?
Yeah, so no, I definitely don't regret comments that I made about Bardo needing to sign the bill, but I would also say it wasn't an assumption for him to sign it, so it wasn't me saying that he has to sign it no matter what Student Senate decides. What I stated in Faculty Senate was that the president should sign it in the case that it's passed by the Student Fees Committee and then passed by the Student Senate. So it was more so just saying that I think that we should follow the process where the president takes the recommendation from students. It wasn't saying any recommendation that comes out of Student Fees Committee, that needs to be signed. It was saying that whatever Student Senate decides, I believe that President Bardo should sign on to that, because I think that's his responsibility in this whole process.
Do you feel you have disenfranchised some of the senators with your words of disencouragement?
So I'm assuming that's relating to student fees, but I don't know. How would you read that? Is that relating to student fees?
I think it followed.
Okay, sure. So I guess in regard to comments of disencouragement, that was how it was stated. I think they're probably talking about the statement that I made about President Bardo needing to sign it. I don't know, that's just my assumption because that was the question before. But I would say in regard to that, so again, I believed that the president should sign on to a recommendation that Student Senate passed. So it wasn't us saying that Student Fees Committee recommendation has to be signed on to. It was me saying that whatever the students decide that they want to see signed, whatever the Student Senate passes, then I thought that President Bardo should sign that. So I'm not sure what they're talking about in regard to words of disencouragement, but I was definitely encouraging senators to do what they thought was right, and I think that that showed in the conversation that we had and in the amendments that were done to the non-fixed line items.
Sure. So shifting gears just a little bit.
Sure.
What is something you feel you've accomplished as SGA president?
So I think we've done a lot this past year. I think our cabinet has accomplished really everything that we promised during our campaign. I had a to-do list of things that we needed to get done that we promised back in the United We Stand days, and we've followed through on every single promise that we wanted to. So I think that that's one accomplishment, but something more tangible, I suppose, would be regarding the security cameras. I think that's definitely something that's going to be great. We're going to have about 30 new security cameras on campus, and they're going to be on the blue emergency light poles, and I think that that's going to be a great security feature and helping students feel safer on campus. So that's something that I'm really excited about and really excited to see that be implemented over the summer.
Was your senior year exciting, stressful even?
Yeah, I guess both. Senior year is always exciting, no matter if you're in high school or in college or in grad school. You're just kind of excited to finish up and wrap things up. But I would say, yeah, senior year has been fun. I'm sure it's definitely been stressful being in the position that I'm in, but I think no matter what position you're in on campus, if you're in a certain organization or if you're a student and you're working full time, I think that senior year is going to be stressful for anybody. You're taking difficult classes and participating in life in different ways. But I think it's been a fun year. I think we've gotten a lot done, and I really enjoyed getting the opportunity to work with my cabinet and work with just such a great team.
What was the purpose of cutting the budget of the Sunflower?
So this was discussed multiple different times, just about ad revenue. I think was the primary reason behind it was that we believed that different organizations, including the Sunflower, could get money from outside fundraising efforts. If that includes ad revenue or I guess for the Sunflower it's ad revenue, but then I guess for like Baja and Formula Team, they can get the different stickers on their cars. But I would say, I think the biggest reason behind it was, the ad sales, just being able to get money from elsewhere. But I just want to reiterate over and over again that it didn't have anything to do with content or coverage. It just had everything to do with being equitable to other organizations and what they get through student fees.
What advice do you have for the next session?
So I would say develop thick skin. I think that's something that any leader can definitely do. Being able to take people's criticism and not take them to heart, but be able to implement change and grow more from those. So I would say develop a thick skin and just be able to power through hard times.
What does your last few weeks in office look like?
Yeah, so we have 14 days left. And I guess the last few weeks just look like wrapping up legislation, just tying up loose ends and trying to get everything squared away so we can make the transition process the best that it can be for the next group.
What's something you wish you had more time to do?
That's a really good question, and something that I haven't really thought a lot about, because I think we've gotten everything done that we said we would get done. I think that I've talked a lot about just like people and relationships that have been formed through student government, so I guess the thing that I'll miss the most and the thing I wish I had more time for was just to spend more time with the people that have been doing such great work this past year. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I think that's really the only thing that I can think of that I wish I had more time to do.
Revival is unchallenged by a Republican ticket at the moment. Some say this is because you have internally destroyed your own party. What do you have to say to that?
So I would start out that student government elections aren't partisan, but going off of that, I don't know. I guess I would just say that, yeah, it's frustrating that there's not a challenger to the ticket, because I don't think it gives students much of an option for who they want their student government leaders to be, but I don't know, I can't really speak for why they're unchallenged, but it's not like there's a continuous party system. Republican, Democrat, that's not how student government elections are set up. They're not supposed to be partisan like that, so I'm not really understanding where that question comes from. And we're back. Sorry, we had some technical issues. My phone ran out of storage, so we had to stop, but we're back, and Brett is ready to ask me more questions, and I'm ready to answer them. Okay.
All right, taking another shift. Why are you so weirdly obsessed with Reagan?
I'm assuming that's talking about President Ronald Reagan. Yes, I do like President Ronald Reagan, and I think any student body president can look up to any United States president, and that's the one I choose to look up to. I think it's just because, I don't know, I liked his personality, and I thought he did good work, and I don't know, I just think President Reagan he was a good president, and I think he's one to look up to, so, and he just had an interesting life, an interesting path to get to politics.
So these next three are kind of tied in together, so I'll ask them all at once.
Okay.
The first says, how are you handling your Coke addiction? K-O-C-H, I'm assuming the company code.
Mm-hmm.
And it asks how it affects your personal life and how it feels to be a pawn of their industrial complex.
Okay, so I'm glad you clarified that it's K-O-C-H. Coke. So yeah, Coke Industries. So it's just asking how I'm a pawn of Coke Industries, basically. So I don't know where that question comes from because I have no relation to Coke Industries. I've never interned there, haven't worked there. It'd be great to end up working there as an attorney in the future because I think it has opportunities for patent attorneys. But that aside, I don't really know how that relates to me as president. I haven't done anything related to Coke Industries as president. I don't know. Can you think of anything that we've done relating to Coke Industries? Okay, so I guess that kind of answers the question. I don't really know where that one comes from because we really have no tie to Coke Industries.
Next question. Paige, what do you hope the next president and session will accomplish next year?
So I hope they continue developing relationships just with different people, mending the gap that exists between students. I think being able to reach out to students that might not usually be interested in student government, that's something that we definitely started, but I think continuing that effort, just trying to do more outreach.
Why did you pick Washburn for law school?
That's a good question. When I went to visit, it felt like home. I know that sounds cliche, but it really did. They have a really good patent program and the patent attorney who teaches the intellectual property classes. She's really outstanding, so I guess that's really why. Their faculty is great and they have an awesome network here in Kansas where I want to practice, so there didn't seem like a better option than Washburn.
What do you think is the biggest accomplishment in SGA so far in your term?
Biggest accomplishment in SGA? I would say honestly just the atmosphere the Senate has become. I think our senators, although they disagree on issues during Senate, I think we can have good conversations and we're all friends at the end of the day. So I think that that's something that we've definitely accomplished this year that was lacking in the past. And I think that we've just been able to become a more unified student government. That doesn't mean unified in that we have to agree on everything all the time, but unified in that we can get along and be friends and care about one another at the end of the day.
What's your favorite quote and why?
So Kylan, can you pan over here real quick? So that's my favorite quote. We can read it real quick. I began to realize how important it was to be an enthusiast in life. If you are interested in something, no matter what it is, go at it full speed. Embrace it with both arms, hug it, love it, and above all, become passionate about it. Lukewarm is no good. So Roald Dahl said that, and I just love that quote because I guess in my life I've always had issues with not being passionate enough about things and diving into things that I wasn't exactly interested in, but I think that this quote really just speaks to it, that if you're interested in something and you want to make change, you just need to be passionate about it. You need to put your all toward it, because being lukewarm isn't any good, so being halfway there isn't any good. So I guess that just motivates me every day, but lukewarm is no good. Lukewarm is no good.
Which class would you recommend taking at WSU and why?
Shoot. I don't know. I've just taken a variety of different classes in engineering and political science, but shoot. I think everybody should learn how to code, so CS 211. Or math 435, I want to say. I don't know. But that one's a really good class. It's history of math, and you learn how math was done like forever ago. It's fascinating. So that one or CS 211, because it's the introduction to coding, and it's interesting, and you can learn how to code because coding is cool, right? Coding is cool.
What was your biggest personal accomplishment at WSU unrelated to SGA?
Biggest personal accomplishment unrelated to SGA. SGA has just been such a big part of my life at WSU, but I would say my freshman year interning in Washington, D.C., that was my favorite thing about my college experience, because WSU invested in me to go live out there. They paid for me to live out there. They gave me a stipend to live out there, and it was just outstanding. I got the experience of a lifetime out in Washington, D.C. when I was just 18 years old, so that's probably my favorite accomplishment.
The next question is a little bit of a shift. It asks, did Bardo put you up to defunding the paper?
So no, Bardo is not part of the student fees committee, and we didn't defund the paper either. We cut their funding back, sure, by $20,000 from last year, but no, Bardo didn't put us up to anything. It was just a decision by the student fees committee that was made up of about 7 students.
So this is similar to a previous question, but why do you think only one ticket ran this year?
I think that people have just seen the difficulties that being in student government just provides in life. I think that it's a hard position to hold, and I don't know a lot of people who are super interested in doing all of that and putting their whole life towards something that might end up hurting them.
Do you think the Sunflowers should base their relationship status with SGA based off of how much money SGA allocates to them?
So I think that that's just something that is naturally going to happen. If people get cut, then they're going to look at SGA a different way. But I would say that we've tried to develop a good relationship with the Sunflower over this past year. We tried to have meetings toward the beginning of our term, and I guess I don't think that anybody should base their sole opinion on student government based on how much they get allocated, but I can understand that people change their opinion based on how much they get allocated. So.
Did you expect the budget to pass in the Senate in last week's meeting?
So I didn't really know what to think what was going to happen in Senate last week, but I thought it was going to pass, but I wasn't completely sure, and it was such a close vote that I don't know if any one of us was really certain that it was going to pass or that it was going to fail.
How do you want future WSU students to remember you?
I guess just as somebody who stayed strong and stayed true to themselves throughout difficult times. I guess that's in short how I want people to remember me, that I stuck around and although went through definitely some difficult times in student government, stayed true to myself and kept going and got stronger through it all.
After a year as SGA president, do you still want to hold public office one day, even be president?
Shoot, I don't know. I would say yes. Public service has always been so important to me, so I think that, yeah, I would love to serve in some realm at some point in my life. Not sure when, not sure what position, but time will tell, and I'll just figure it out as I go along.
What administrator has been most helpful to you as SGA president?
I would say Werner Goling. So he's vice president for finance and administration, and he has been so helpful just with different things that have been happening this past year. He's the most honest person I know, and he's going to always be honest about the numbers that are happening at Wichita State. So I would say, yeah, Werner, just because he's always been there to answer my questions, and he's been such a great role model for me this past year.
Which senators do you believe were the most impactful?
Yeah, so somebody asked me that last week, I think. They asked me who my favorite senator was, but I think all senators are equally impactful in their own ways. So I don't think I'm going to answer that one. That specific person, I think everybody's done a great job.
What would you like to see come out of the 61st session?
So I guess that's really up to the 61st session, what they want to do. It's not really up to us, but I would say just, yeah, continuing those efforts and mending relationships that have been broken on campus for a long time.
This last question is quite a bit different from the others.
Okay.
Is it true that you are embezzling university funds for a large on-campus go-kart track project, that you are getting kickbacks from the project manager?
Okay, so I know who this is coming from then, because my senior design group for electrical design, semester 2, I have 3 electrical engineers, 1 computer engineer, and another computer science major. And they've joked around about making a go-kart group on campus, but no, that's not true. I'm not embezzling funds. Yeah, I think it's just a joke, probably put up by Christian, Connor, or Colton. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
That is the final question.
Okay, well, now that all that's over, I want to say thank you for always tuning in to Engage with Paige. I'm sorry that we had to stop doing live streams, but I hope you've still been watching our YouTube videos for Engage with Paige. I also just want to thank you for a great year. I think we've done a lot of really good things, and we'll be putting up a dashboard in the coming weeks just saying all the accomplishments that the 60th session has done. It's definitely been a hard year, and I think we made a lot of tough decisions, but I'm definitely proud of the things that we've gotten done and what the Senate's done, what my team has done, and I think it's been an outstanding one. So thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope to see you soon. Bye.